Welcome back, episode 3 of Braves Bullpen. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Siegel, joined alongside with Gardie her. And Gardie, lots to talk about. All-Star Break just next week, right around the corner. So let's dive right into it. The Braves 58-28, 10 games up in the loss column in the NL East on the Miami Marlins. 58-28, 30, count them, 30 games above 500.
Right. I don't know if I can count that high.
Yeah, it's a big number. It's
Big
definitely
number.
it's the biggest we've ever seen on this show.
Yeah, I don't think the
Without a
Mets or Marlins have ever seen anything like that.
yeah, without a doubt. 58-28, 10 games up on those pesky Marlins. The Braves, since we recorded last on June 14th, are 16-2. They have played 18 games in that span. Their two losses came one to the Cincinnati Reds and one to the Cleveland Guardians. Since the beginning of June, they have lost 5 games. Count them 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gardie, I know we're coming up to the All-Star break, and we'll get into the 8 All-Stars that the Braves have in just a little bit. But the performance has been something that I know in our brief tenure doing this show, something that we've really never seen.
Yeah, 3 years. We've never seen anything like it. Rye, thanks for apologizing to the people who actually watch this for being gone. And so that's why we haven't been recording, but that's neither here nor there. But no, it's really incredible what we're seeing, especially when we think about all the things that we have talked about on our the previously named show, on our show currently, when it comes to our starting pitching being hurt. We still haven't seen Max Fried really this season, to our woes with the fact that we don't have a closer. AJ Minter's a bum, even if he has been pitching decently recently. He's still a bum, but it's nuts. I mean, I like earlier this season when all of these injuries were happening and we're having some of these little bumps in May and June. I said, hey, let's just try to stay the course. Let's play 600 ball. That's all we need to do, and we're 30 games above 500. I mean, it's a crazy place to be in. As you said, we've never seen this happen before. And all I can say is I'm really happy, and now we're going to get into this a little later, right? But I'm really happy that there's a large group of people that we just mentioned who are going to be on the roster for the next half a decade.
And Gardie, you mentioned 600 baseball. They are playing 674 baseball. That's good enough to send 8 players to the All-Star game. 3 starters in the starting lineup: Orlando Arcia, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Sean Murphy. Again, the Braves are the land of catchers, a catching surplus, catcher
Yep.
island, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Now, I don't want to go as far as catcher in the rye and make a pun, but we just
Hate
went
that book.
there. We also have in the reserve on the bench, you have Ozzy Albies, Matt Olson, and Austin Riley. So Riley back-to-back All-Star games. And then you have Spencer Strider and Bryce Elder as 2 pitchers. Obviously, still too early to announce who will be the starting pitcher of the game, but Strider and Elder rounding out those 8 players for the Braves. And Gardie, we talked about them. Obviously, we mentioned the 3 starters. Acuna's hitting 337. Murphy's hitting 305, and Arcia's hitting 298. You're getting performance up and down the lineup. And again, 6 of your 8 hitters made the All-Star game.
Yeah, yes. And I think something to note too, before I rattle off a little bit of a fun fact, is the 5 guys who aren't starters. Those guys were voted in by the players, by their peers. That wasn't a fan vote. That wasn't like the Atlanta Braves community rigged it. No, they said that they were the best players at their position by their peers. So I think that's a phenomenal sign to have, especially when those 2 pitchers are starting pitchers and they're really, really young. As you can see, I'm trying to do my little Spencer Strider right here. It's
You've
not
got a
not
long way to
nearly
go
as
there.
good.
You got
Yeah,
a
got a
long way to go,
long way to
fella.
go. Yeah, no, I'm doing my 1982 soft hitting middle infielder. But this is the most a team has sent to the All-Star game since the 2012 Texas Rangers, and the most in the NL since 2008. And to your point, you have 6 hitters out of your 9 who are consistently in your lineup who are all-star hitters. And yes, we can look at Ozzy Albies, Austin Riley, Matt Olson. Their averages aren't nearly comparable to the 3 guys who are starting, but Matt Olson has 29 home runs. Ozzy Albies has 63 RBIs. Austin Riley has a great glove. I mean, there's a lot of just up, as you said, up and down this lineup, no matter where it is or what it is, there is talent. And that's just exciting.
And I couldn't agree more if I said it myself. And I think the biggest thing that when we talk about this, and this kind of segues into our next topic, the highest paid player on the Atlanta Braves is not Ronald Acuna Jr. It's Matt Olson, and Matt Olson is only making $21 million, which is good for 10% of the payroll. Think about it, 10% of the payroll. You want to think about what Shohei Ohtani is going to pull in. You think about what Mike Trout pulls in.
Aaron Judge's contract.
You think
Aaron Judge, $39 million.
Aaron Judge's contract, Garrett Cole's contract. You could go on and on player by player of how much that pulls in. Matt Olson is the highest paid player on the Braves at 10.47%, or sorry, 10.42%, rounding error, of the payroll at $21 million a year. The Braves have the 8th highest payroll in baseball. Two of those teams are in their division in front of them. The Mets have the highest payroll, and the Phillies have the 3rd highest payroll. They're also sitting behind the Yankees, Padres, Dodgers, Angels, and Blue Jays. But Gardie, I know we're kind of talking about this next. The Braves core is arguably one to be very scary, and I think in the National League side of things, one that's going to rival kind of what the Astros have built over the last 5-10 years.
100%. I noted, because we talked about this off show, or pre-show, excuse me. You have 2 outfielders, 3 middle infielders, and a catcher signed through 2027. And then you have Spencer Strider. And to your point, I mean, it's great to see, especially because Atlanta actually has money. It's not like, think about the Tampa Bay Rays, where you have the Blake Snells of the world, or the Tyler Glasnows, who you know is going to walk, or they're going to trade off, because they do have this great ability to find talent and develop talent, but they don't have the money to pay them. And at the same time, really getting into the weeds on the numbers, one of the great things our lovely GM, Alex, I'm not going to butcher his last name.
Very Greek.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try. Just thought about it, not going to try. Mr. Alex has done a great job of front loading and back loading contracts too, so that guys are getting paid, but it's not, you're not pushing over the luxury tax. You have the ability to sign free agents to not immodest size contracts. And you can actually then, as you said, have this core, but then also continually build a championship caliber team around them. And another thing that he did which is great, because it also provides loyalty towards the organization from these guys, if, in arbitration, in things like that, he goes guaranteed money, but lower contracts. And, it's been working out great. As we said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 guys in our core, and Bryce Elder's making $750,000 this season to pitch 102 innings already. I mean, Spencer Strider, yeah, we just extended him. He's still making what? I think he said $1 million this season for 155 strikeouts at the All-Star break. I mean, he could do the 300 thing. He's getting paid $1 million freaking dollars. Garrett, there are a lot of people we could point to, but to your point, I'm excited. I sound unexcited. I sound angry, but I'm really actually excited.
And Gardie, to point out, your 2 all-star pitchers, Strider and Elder, are making a combined $1.75 million this year.
So yeah, if
2 of your starting pitchers are making less than $2 million this year.
Also, so that's what? That's a tenth. It's literally what, 1% of their overall roster payroll. It's crazy. Like, Max Fried is getting paid $15 million, and he's your highest paid pitcher. Wonder why they're 30 games over. I mean, Vaughn Grissom is hitting, I think I saw 287 or 277 in 20 games this season. And I'd say if you put him up against the other shortstops in Major League Baseball, that would rank pretty highly. And he's just someone we're not talking about. That's the Braves. From top to bottom of this contract conversation, it's also important to note that Mr. Alex has done a phenomenal job either of building a scouting and development program or understanding it himself. Because think about all the guys we've talked about, even a Bryce Elder, a Vaughn Grissom, Ronald Acuna, the guys who jumped from playing 100 games in Double-A to maybe 20 games in Triple-A, right? Michael Harris II, right to the major leagues and being studs.
You're absolutely right. And again, to talk about percentage of payroll, Spencer Strider and Bryce Elder are 0.84% of the payroll. 0.84. Charlie Morton is 9.9% of the payroll.
And he's not
an all-star. He is 0.84%. And you mentioned it, Gardie, a very young team with a very young core. And most of your players, to your point, are signed on multi-year deals.
Yeah,
it is a team with a payroll that's only going down. It is a team where, you're sitting there and the people that you have to worry about re-signing for next season, really, in terms of an arbitration side of things, is Max Fried. Your arbitration pitchers are Mike Soroka, AJ Minter, and Max Fried. Those are your people entering their final years of arbitration. Everybody else is entering their first year of arbitration. Kyle Wright is entering his first year of arbitration. He's been injured. You're probably going to get him on a team-friendly deal. Bryce Elder still has 3 years of pre-arbitration. He has only been on an MLB roster for 40 days.
Literally, and he's thrown 102 innings, 102.7
in 40 days of service time.
That's crazy.
That is crazy talk.
Also, let's add another little wrinkle here about how young they are. 2027, the number I kind of keep using because that core kind of starts diminishing after 2027 with some of the older guys. But Ronald Acuna Jr., who has a team option in 2027, team option, not player option, team option, is only going to be 29 years old. 29. That's nuts. 29. Aaron Judge just signed a 9-year, 10-year, 39 mil every year at 29. And we have him through 29 at this price. And also, to your point, even the guys who are going into their last year of arbitration, Fried's been hurt. Soroka hasn't played in 2 years. He's a great story, but still hasn't played in 2 years. And AJ Minter's a freaking bum. So even the guys entering the last year of arbitration, you can probably get on team-friendly deals. But with that said, Ryan, as I am in the stadium, if you're at the other end of the stadium, we are a fan show first, even though we just talked a lot of big general manager numbers. So if you have any stories at home at Truist Park or on the road, me or I, we'd love to hear from you. So please let us know. Thanks for listening.